Can you really hire a WordPress developer for $500? In a world where agencies charge thousands of dollars for a basic website, I'm on a mission to see just how much of a WordPress site you can get for $500. I decided to compare Fiverr, Craigslist, and WordPress.com's website design service, each with a $500 budget. And while WordPress.com's offering is straightforward and has a fixed $499 price tag, hiring a developer on Fiverr and Craigslist required a bit more research. I'll dive into how I found each developer, but first, I want to give a huge thanks to WordPress.com for sponsoring this video. As you can see, I had to light $500 on fire on Fiverr and Craigslist hiring the developers, and videos like this wouldn't be possible without the support of my sponsors like WordPress.com. Alright, so I invited each developer to use their preferred theme, page builder, and plugins, but every site was hosted on the WordPress.com business plan, so the performance would be consistent. As you may know with WordPress, there are quite a few ways to build a website, and I wanted to see how each developer would approach their stack, so I gave them full creative control to craft the site however they wanted. I did provide a brief with assets and a logo and some content, but I didn't provide much design direction because I wanted to see how each developer would interpret it. So let's walk through hiring the devs on each platform. WordPress.com's website design service is an a la carte offering available free for a limited time for business plan users, or it's available anytime for a fixed fee of $499. When you're ready to get started, you'll fill out the form and pretty soon WordPress.com will reach out to you and you'll have a couple back and forth emails discussing how many pages your site needs and any special requirements it may have. Now, the package comes with 5 pages included, but additional pages are available for $69 a page. Once you agree on the number of pages, they will set up a personalized intake form that will ask for logos, assets, and content that will go on each page. And once you've filled out that intake form and submitted your content, your site will be ready in 4 business days. So it's easy to get started with a site build on WordPress.com. But what about Fiverr? Now, Fiverr has a wide variety of listings for WordPress development, but I wanted to find something in that $500 price tier. And as you may know with Fiverr, a lot of their gigs are cheap, like really cheap. Sometimes too cheap to be good? Like seriously, you can hire a WordPress developer for $100, but I wanted to make sure I was fair, so I went over to Fiverr Pro. This is their pool of vetted developers that offer higher quality service, usually at a higher price, and I was able to find a few listings in the $500 price range for a 5-page WordPress site. I found a developer with a 4.9 star average who charged me $475 for a 5-page website, and this was including Fiverr's service fee. The developer didn't have much of a consultation or ask me for any specific info. I was the one who provided the brief and the materials. I provided the same information I gave to WordPress.com, but they were very organized and had that detailed intake form. This developer kind of just winged it with what I gave him. Once I submitted the brief, the order was started and the developer agreed to a 14-day turnaround. So once I submit the materials, the clock starts, and then Fiverr keeps track of when the project is due. So as you can see, Fiverr is less structured than WordPress.com, but it's a lot more structured than Craigslist. I was not looking forward to hiring a WordPress dev on Craigslist. Oh, the things I do for YouTube. Finding a WordPress developer on Craigslist is truly like the Wild West. Pricing isn't transparent, there's no way to check reviews, and you have to just call or text random phone numbers and hope for the best. It's such a weird experience. I talked to a few people, and you instantly feel like you're talking to some used car salesman who's trying to upsell you with SEO services and hosting, and I'm like, no, just tell me how much for a basic website. And it was a strange process too, because I didn't want to reveal my hand and tell them I want to give you $500 in case they came in under, but I also didn't want to spend $1,500. So it was a process of just getting a few bids until someone came back and offered something in that $500 price range. I ended up connecting with an agency owner who asked to do a phone call and took the time to really understand my project. I felt relatively comfortable proceeding with this developer after our conversation, but it was a bit nerve-wracking because I paid in full up front. I thought he seemed like a trustworthy guy, and he was, But you never know on Craigslist. And to his credit, that's probably also why he asks for payment up front. I trusted the developer and it all worked out, but that is the riskier of the three options. On Fiverr, you'll get a full refund if the developer doesn't do the work, and WordPress.com is a credible, reliable company. With Craigslist, well, good luck. I would definitely advise you to always pay with a credit card so you could file a chargeback if they don't deliver, but that may not always be an option. I will say, I felt confident that the Craigslist developer took the time to understand my project and like he really understood the assignment, which was not the case with the Fiverr developer. So after getting all the orders submitted, what were the results? My WordPress.com site build was the first to be completed, coming in just 2 business days after I submitted the content. WordPress.com nailed it. The site is polished, it includes all the content I submitted, it's responsive, honestly, it's ready to publish. The site was built using the blocks editor and the plugin stack is very lightweight. In fact, everything used to build the site is either included in WordPress core or an automatic product that comes with your WordPress.com plan. Overall, WordPress.com did a great job. The next site to be completed was from our Fiverr developer. It was completed after 10 days, and I gotta be honest, I was quite underwhelmed by the results. While the site itself was a nice design, half the images were home cleaning related and had nothing to do with pressure washing. Our brief was for a business called Fresh Wash Pressure Pros. It's a local pressure washing company, and all the images I included were of a man pressure washing, not cleaning the inside of houses. It was pretty clear that this was just a modified demo site for a home cleaning business. I'm not holding anything against him for using templates at this price point, but he did the bare minimum to customize it, and the delivered product was not something I could launch. Because I suspected a template was used, I ran a reverse image search and learned that he used the Let's Clean Elementor template kit from ThemeForest. He used Elementor Pro and the Hello Elementor theme as the main stack with minimal third-party plugins. Sadly, the site was nowhere near ready to go live after the initial delivery, but I'll touch on the revision process later. Now, the Craigslist site was surprisingly my favorite of the 3. Our developer nailed it. It looks professional, on brand, and contains the provided assets with strong calls to action. It also took the longest of the 3 to be completed. I was notified that the site was ready for review 13 days after submitting the assets. Although in fairness to the developer, it took me longer than expected to submit the assets, and I'm sure he's got a queue of work he's managing, so he probably switched some projects around and started working on other stuff first. For the stack, he used the Flatsum theme and page builder and a few third-party plugins. So each site turned out decently on the initial delivery, save for the Fiverr site, but how does each developer handle revisions? Starting with WordPress.com, if you do want to hire the WordPress.com team to make changes, they can provide custom quotes for small updates. For regular ongoing work, they can help you find a certified WordPress.com agency through their Automatic for Agencies program. They also send a walkthrough video upon delivery explaining how your site is structured and how to make changes, and they offer complimentary onboarding calls to train you on WordPress and help you work through specific challenges and get your site fully ready to launch. I got to experience an onboarding call, and the cool thing is that they let you book as many calls as you need to get your website off the ground. WordPress.com is truly committed to helping you learn WordPress so you can be self-sufficient and edit your website on your own. Okay, so what about our Fiverr site? Well, our package includes 3 rounds of revisions, so I submitted a revision request and asked for the following: changing the images to be related to pressure washing and not home cleaning, fixing a responsive scaling issue with the hero section, and reducing the animations on scroll. The developer knocked out the revision requests within about 12 hours, and then the site was ready to launch. Unlike WordPress.com, this particular developer didn't provide a walkthrough video or any training, so you'll have to be comfortable figuring out Elementor on your own. Otherwise, on Fiverr Pro, you can hire developers by the hour for custom work. This specific developer charges $60 an hour for updates. Finally, for our Craigslist site, we didn't agree to a specific number of revisions, but I asked our developer if he would be willing to do one minor round of revisions. He agreed to it, and I asked him to change the following: taking out the slider in the hero section, and changing the position of the arrows on the testimonial slider. The common theme with our Craigslist developer is that there was much less proactive communication. He didn't update me when the changes were complete, so I followed up a week later to ask. He ultimately always responded when I reached out, and the site was completed to my satisfaction. He also let me know that additional changes to my site could be made for $40 an hour upon request. Obviously, your Craigslist experience is going to be totally different depending on who you hire, but I think the lesson here is that Craigslist has no system in place to track where you are in the project, and there's no way to know that you get what you pay for. You're kind of taking a gamble. With Fiverr, there is a countdown clock to order delivery, and you know exactly how many rounds of revisions you're entitled to. If something goes wrong, you're protected by Fiverr. You can reach out to their customer support, and they'll make it right. With Craigslist, you just get whatever service the developer provides. With WordPress.com, they have a dedicated team completing site builds to the highest quality, and they have a focus on customer education to make sure that you know how to edit and maintain your site after delivery. And speaking of, my final consideration is how easy each website will be to manage based on each dev's chosen stack. For Fiverr and Craigslist, your mileage may vary based on the developer you hire, but you will get the same stack consistently if you use the WordPress.com website design service. Starting with WordPress.com, it's the easiest stack for WordPress beginners. You have a simple, professional site built with the block editor. This is essentially vanilla WordPress. It's a little bit more limiting than Elementor or other third-party page builders, but it's easy to learn. In addition, you get the video walkthrough and onboarding calls to make sure you are actually equipped to edit your own site long-term. It's a no-bloat approach that uses WordPress core without heavy third-party plugins. Now let's look at our Fiverr site. Our developer used a tried and true stack. Hello Elementor is Elementor's official theme, and Elementor Pro is widely used and supported. Elementor has a learning curve, but there are countless videos, articles, and resources to help you learn it. I don't think it's as easy to use as the block editor, but it is more powerful. The developer kept things lightweight and didn't bloat the site with a bunch of heavy third-party plugins, but no walkthrough or training was provided. And looking at our Craigslist site, this is the most niche stack of the bunch. The dev used the Flatsum theme and page builder, and Flatsum, while a popular theme, is a way less common page builder than the Blocks editor, Elementor, or WP Bakery. So the resources available on how to use it are limited. Our dev didn't brief us on how to make changes, and I feel it would be a struggle for the average user to manage this website. In fairness to our Fiverr and Craigslist devs, I didn't ask them to provide a walkthrough or training, and I bet they may have been willing to hop on a call and explain things if I had asked. However, I wanted to get the vanilla experience from each developer without asking for anything extra to see what the average user would experience. One thing is very clear. WordPress.com's website design team offers the fastest service, the easiest to manage site builds, and is committed to helping you actually learn how to use WordPress and maintain your site long term. WordPress.com's design team also leverages the WordPress core editor to keep sites running insanely fast. All three of our sites are hosted on the WordPress.com business plan, but the WordPress.com design site got a perfect 100 performance score, compared to 97 on our Fiverr site, still incredible by the way, and 78 on our Craigslist site. One thing I've learned is that you can get a perfectly usable WordPress site for $500. I've got to be honest, I wasn't expecting the sites to be this good for the price. Now, they aren't groundbreaking, they don't have booking pages or any fancy features, and they're basic 5-page websites. If you need more pages, all three developers offer additional pages for a fee, but I kept it to a basic 5-page build to keep things simple. And these are simple websites. However, in a world where agencies are charging $3,000 for a basic WordPress site, seeing what you can get for $500 has been quite the surprise. But it begs the question, do you even need to spend $500 in this current era of vibe coding? Honestly, you may not need to. WordPress.com also offers an AI website builder where you can get started with a prompt. But the real value here is not having to think about building your site at all. Time is a business owner's most valuable asset, and if you can spend $500 and hire that process out, I think that's well worth the cost. But no matter which path you choose, you can't go wrong with WordPress.com to host your WordPress site. Whether you use their website design team, hire a Fiverr or Craigslist developer, build it with AI, or build it yourself, WordPress.com is purpose-built to host WordPress. Right now, you can get 50% off your first year of the business and commerce plans using my link, and you can now install plugins and themes on all paid WordPress.com plans. So give WordPress.com a shot to host your website. You may even get a complimentary site build depending on when you sign up. And if you want to check out our Fiverr dev or Craigslist dev, I'll have them both linked below. Our Craigslist dev actually owns an agency called Rockstar Systems, and he works with clients globally, so go show him some love. It was very kind of him to participate in this video. Once you have your WordPress site up and running, you may want to optimize your business further with email marketing. I compared the top email marketing platforms, and you can watch that video here.